The Morgan Report with David Morgan. Discover how to build and protect your wealth at themorganreport.com.
David Morgan of The Morgan Report for the week ending 25 October 2024. Well, this is going to be a very brief one for this weekly perspective. Most of you that follow the metals markets closely have already heard this. I just want to emphasize it because this is some very important news. And if you haven't heard it, Reuters and others reported this week, the end of the week, Russia in talks with BRICS over precious metals exchange. Russia's talked with BRICS members about creating an international precious metals exchange to ensure fair pricing and trade growth. The country's Finance Minister Anton, I won't pronounce the last name, said in a statement Thursday. Leaders of BRIC countries account for 37% of the global economy. The mechanism would include the creation of price indicators for metals standards for the production and trade of bullion and instruments of credit market participants, clearing and auditing within BRICS. The BRICS Precious Metals Exchange would rival Western trading platforms such as the LBMA, London Metals Exchange, would protect trade from sanctions imposed by the West on BRICS members Russia and Iran. Earlier, BRICS leaders expressed support for efforts to increase trade in precious metals among the group's countries in a joint communique issued October 23rd. And that basically said that they would trade precious metals amongst each other in their own currencies, circumventing the U.S. dollar. Russia is the second largest global gold producer and one of its biggest companies. Nornickel is the world's largest supplier of palladium with a 40% share of global output. Again, this will be a short one. I think I'll round this out with an interview with Ross Norman, metals.daily.com. And he goes into some, very specific information that we're probably all aware of about what's going on in Chinese. I think it's important to outline some of this stuff, however. Central bank buying is quality because it's unlikely to be sold if there's a significant price correction. It's for the very long term, multi-generational, Norman said. The Chinese themselves are speculatively buying gold. It took to an all-time high, US $100 above where they are now, and the market corrected lower. Now it is for the exchanges, particularly from the Chinese exchanges, the Shanghai Gold Exchange and the SHFE, significantly increased initial margins, effectively putting a speed bump in terms of trading gold. I want to pause there for a moment. I put out a update for TMR members earlier in the week, and everyone was pretty enthused with what gold and silver were doing. We'd already hit 35 in the gold market, in the silver market. And I suggested to all of them that we're going to see an increase in margin requirements here shortly. And I think it was just a couple days later that the margin requirements were were increased across the board for silver and gold. To press on again with how strong the Chinese are, Norman goes on to say retail buying is strong, central bank buying is strong, institutional buying is strong, on exchange traded funds. Added to that, China is having its Costco moment in the same sense that Generation Z and millennials are buying gold at high premiums, I might add, in gold beans. And if you don't know what gold beans are, you can look it up on the internet. It's a small amount of gold, but it's very much caught on in Asia, and a lot of people are buying gold in that manner. And I'll go ahead and finish with this. This is from the Financial Times. Can silver become more precious than gold? Here's what Vendetta's Engel Ingewall thinks. And I won't read you the whole article. You can look it up. But really, it's just a dissertation or really kind of a small missive on what's going on with silver. A lot of it revolves around this that was on X, silver in electric vehicles. And he talks about, how silver plays so many different roles in the global economy. Silver is shining and India prices across a level that's really the highest it's been in rupees, as far as I know, ever. And on it goes. So just something to think about. Of course, there are some comments that are probably very much in line with silver being, undervalued relative to gold and everything else. So quite an interesting week, especially when you consider what has been proposed by the BRICS and a new possibly new precious metals exchange to compete with the LBMA and COMEX. So I'm going to close out there. This is David Morgan of themorganreport.com, and I'll be back with you next week with another weekly perspective.